I'm so
Someone else helping Meltdown. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to leave. I'm so
we
stressed.
don't even have to bang. We literally don't have to freak out right now. We don't even have to fucking, like...
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
So we've made it to the 6th episode of The Simpsons. It's called Moaning Lisa. It's episode number 7G06, and it originally aired on February 11th, 1990. The writers were Al Jean and Mike Reese, and the director was Wesley Archer. And of course, the showrunners were Matt Groening, Sam Simon, and James L. Brooks. And not all Lisa episodes are bad, but I'm really not a fan of this one. So in my opinion, this one would be a prime candidate for skipping. And I know that's quite an unpopular opinion, but to me the only things this episode has going for it is the music at the end, Homer and Bart's B-story, where they play a video game very similar to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, and the fact that you can see the show getting visibly better. But other than that, the story just bores the crap out of me. Lisa is sad. For no reason. And that's it. Apparently James L. Brooks thought it would be a great idea. And perhaps he was right because a lot of people loved this episode. It's just not for me. So the plot goes a little something like this. Lisa wakes up very depressed, seemingly for no reason. Then the episode focuses on her emotions throughout the rest of the day. It begins with her trying to express herself at a time when she probably shouldn't have. And then being offended when she was told to stop.
But Mr. Largo, that's what my country's all about.
What?
Then it turns into general depression over the mundane repetition of everyday life.
Every day at noon a bell rings and they herd us in here for feeding time. And we sit around like cattle chewing our cuds, dreading the inevitable... Food fight!
And then during gym class, she refuses to participate in dodgeball because she is too sad.
Listen, Missy, just tell me why you weren't getting out of the way of those balls.
I'm too sad.
Too sad to play dodgeball? That's ridiculous.
So then, of course, the gym teacher sends her home with a note to Homer and Marge explaining about her refusal to cooperate. Then, of course, her depression morphs into existential fear.
I'm just wondering, what's the point? Would it make any difference at all if I never existed?
After that, she goes to her room alone and wails on her saxophone until she makes Homer crazy.
What did I tell you about playing that saxophone thing in the house?
I was just playing the blues, Dad.
Then, out her window, she hears someone else playing some live saxophone, so then she sneaks out of her house to follow the noise and find out who's playing. And that's when we get our first appearance of Bleeding Gums Murphy.
That was beautiful. What's it called?
Oh, it's a little tune that I call the I Never Had an Italian Soup Blues.
So the voice for Bleeding Gums Murphy is Ron Taylor, an actor who we'd seen on Wise Guy, among other shows. And the name is loosely based on Blind Lemon Jefferson, the old bluesman.
So I couldn't find a clip of Wise Guy with Ron Taylor in it, but he did play Coach Wingate in a couple of episodes of Twin Peaks.
Now, Nadine has chosen to prove herself to us by taking on our very best, our very own district champion, Mike Nelson.
Unfortunately, the episodes he's featured in both come from that period of time when David Lynch was angry and had left the show. So those episodes are considered the worst in the series. Kind of like Moaning Lisa. After realizing Lisa is no longer in the house, Marge goes to find her and promptly takes her back home.
Lisa, get away from that jazz man.
But Mom, can I
Come
stay
on,
a
come
little longer?
on. We were worried about you. Nothing personal. I just fear the unfamiliar.
But while she was with Bleeding Gums Murphy, she was having the time of her life. So I'm sure it made her even more depressed that Marge ripped her away from all that. But come on, she is 8 years old, right? But the thing that finally cheers Lisa up is Marge just telling her that it's okay that she's sad and that she doesn't have to smile. Suddenly, Lisa can't stop smiling.
I feel like smiling.
It's just a bunch of emotional, heartfelt crap. But the way they brought the A story and the B story together at the end worked extremely well.
Here comes my right! Oh no! My game! My game! I could have beat the boy! Marge, how could you? I was so close!
Unfortunately, it shows just how boring the A story is when the B story is right next to it. The story ends with Homer and Marge taking the entire family to a jazz club so they can hear Bleeding Gums Murphy and his band play Lisa's new song. and I suppose it's mildly entertaining. But for me, I just find myself looking at the clock wondering how much time is left before this episode is over. Luckily, there are some other notable moments in the episode to keep you entertained. A little. For instance, the chalkboard gag is a reference to the previous episode, Bart the General. We get the first appearance of Jacqueline Bouvier.
Wait, Margie. Before you go out that door, let's put our happy face on.
She's showing up in dream/memory form, but I don't think she has a name yet. She's just Marge's mom at this point. This episode has the second prank call to Moe's Tavern, and Moe has switched from black to gray hair in this one.
Jock Strap. Hey guys, I'm looking for a jock strap.
Also, the bridge where Lisa meets Bleeding Gums Murphy is the same bridge where Homer tried to do something to himself that you can't say on YouTube.
I think this bridge was modeled after an old bridge in Pasadena.
Oh yeah.
You pass it on the freeway now. It's still there. Very depressing looking bridge.
Well, there's a similar bridge in my hometown of Portland, Oregon, which was known locally as the Bridge, because people jumped off it a lot. And it was such a weird name to grow up with, because I had to cross the bridge every single day, getting to and from school.
You know, if I lived in Portland, Oregon, I would think the quickest, easiest way to get the hell out of Portland, Oregon would be to jump off the bridge. So I'm all for it.
So, I mean, Homer tries to, in one of the early episodes, too, of this, I think this bridge.
And according to Al Jean, we get the first appearance of Ralph Wiggum, but I'm not so sure I agree with him on that.
Hey, what are you talking to her for? She's just gonna say something weird.
Coming up is the first appearance of Ralph, who we didn't know would become Ralph Wiggum. That happened later, and he was named after Ralph Cramden on The Honeymooners because we wanted sort of a little loudish boy, sort of a junior version of Homer.
I didn't know that.
That's the fact. But he didn't become Ralph Wiggum till the episode where he had a crush on Lisa, and someone said, hey, wouldn't it be funny if Ralph was Wiggum's boy?
So technically the first time we saw Ralph was in the Christmas episode, The Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire. Whoever the hell that was looked a lot more like Ralph than this character does. But the Christmas episode was technically produced after this one, even though it was the first one to air on television. So it is possible that Al Jean knows what he's talking about. I just find it a little odd that Matt Groening doesn't know what he's talking about. Regardless, there isn't much about this character that reminds me of Ralph. So I'd say he's probably some background character from the early seasons that we just don't see anymore. He was sitting in the background behind Lisa earlier in this episode. So is this character Ralph Wiggum? Does Al Jean know what he's talking about? I don't know. I don't think it matters. And I really don't have anything else to say about this episode, but if you're interested in more, the full version of this video is available on Rumble, Odyssey, and Quarter.tv. The version that's on those websites is a lot more in-depth. So I'm just going to leave it there and start working on the next episode, Call of the Simpsons. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.